Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. So today's video, we're actually not going to be yelling at Nintendo for once. Today, we're going to be yelling at Microsoft. Now the main reason I'm doing this is because on Sunday, we are having Microsoft's press conference for E3, and it is 2 hours long. 2 hours! That's a long presentation. So I really wanted to do a video saying that, well, first of all, I am going to be doing, I'm going to be live streaming the presentation. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it is at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. If I'm wrong, I'll put the correction on the screen, but 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when the Microsoft stream is, and obviously it'll be going from 4 to 6, or however long 2 hours is, for if I'm wrong with the time. So, it's a long presentation, so I want to do a live stream, because I will be with my father at my dad's house, so I'm going to be doing a live stream of the event, so hopefully you guys will come and stop by, join me, and hopefully we hear some news about good old Banjo-Kazooie. But anyways, today's video is talking about what I think Microsoft and Rare should do with the Banjo-Kazooie IP.
Zach Pack, he's always there for you. Zach Pack, only on YouTube. Zach Pack, what will he do next? Zach Pack, let's find out, 'cause it's on with the show.
So for those of you who do not know, Banjo-Kazooie is a game that came out on the Nintendo 64 way back in the year of 1998. That was the year I was born. Oh, wow. I feel old now. This game is as old as me. But nevertheless, guys, Banjo-Kazooie is honestly one of the best 3D platformers out there. It's fluid, it's fun, and for the console being the N64 and how awful the controller was and how awful the graphics were, it's really a great game, and I highly recommend it, especially if you have an Xbox One or an Xbox 360, because you can play this game on those systems because it has been brought to Xbox because of Microsoft's acquisition of Rareware. And then 2 years later, the sequel came out, Banjo-Tooie. And I'm not as big of a fan of this one as I am the original, but this is also a great game. It definitely did change quite a bit from the first game in terms of the scope of the levels and how things work, but nevertheless, it's still quite a decent follow-up to the classic of Banjo-Kazooie. I love the Banjo-Kazooie game so much that I even got the Game Boy Advance one, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. It's actually a decent Banjo-Kazooie game given the fact that it's on the Game Boy Advance. But, after this game, nothing else on Nintendo console, and then, in the year, what was it, maybe 2006, 2007, we got a teaser trailer for the new Banjo-Kazooie game coming out on the Xbox 360. And we were all like, yes, this game looks brilliant, it's collecting jiggies, collecting music notes, and then, the actual game came out. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. And that game is universally hated by anyone who's played Banjo-Kazooie. And even if you haven't played Banjo-Kazooie, it's just not a great game. You know, the graphics are decent, and you know, like it feels like Banjo-Kazooie, but they changed it to like a mechanic where you're driving a car. It's no longer a 3D platformer. They even mock it not being a 3D platformer in the beginning. So they basically spat in the face of the original 3 games and made this abomination. It was awful in my opinion. And ever since that failure, Banjo-Kazooie has been dormant. I mean, it came back in Rare Replay, but it wasn't a new game or anything. So it really, really sucked that Microsoft experimented with Banjo-Kazooie by changing it, and then it didn't work, so now they haven't done anything with it in all these years. Which I think sucks because, like I said, Banjo-Kazooie is honestly a great franchise. So I think if they made a new game, an actual new game based off of these ones, it would be received really, really well. But Microsoft aren't doing it probably because of the criticisms that Nuts and Bolts got because of the fact that it was a completely different game. But that's enough about the history of Banjo-Kazooie. Here's what I think they should do with Banjo-Kazooie. And obviously, I'm making this video before E3 because this all could be announced at E3. So I want to make sure this video gets out before all that happens. But firstly, I think it's decently important to bring the old games to the Nintendo Switch. Because Nintendo is the core audience of Banjo-Kazooie. And if Microsoft and Nintendo want to work together, what better franchise to bring to a Nintendo platform than Banjo-Kazooie? You know, there's no better franchise. Some people are like, oh, we want Halo, and we want this and that, which would be cool, but I think the most logical first step, I mean, first of all, the most logical first step was Cuphead, because that was an indie game, but it was Microsoft's own. So now, an even bigger step is a third-party game that Nintendo fans would like. That's where Banjo-Kazooie comes in. I think Banjo-Kazooie should come to the Switch, and people who liked Banjo-Kazooie back in the day would instantly gravitate towards that Snap failed, would instantly gravitate towards those games. And for the people that don't instantly gravitate towards those games, is my second point. Put Banjo in Smash. Now, I know so many Smash fans are like, oh, Banjo can't be in Smash. Banjo wouldn't be in Smash. I want Steve to be in Smash. I want Master Chief to be in Smash. Let me get to the point here. With Master Chief, just no. Okay, just no. And with Steve, I think Steve, while he is an iconic character, I think, because like a lot of people who would prefer Steve, not saying that they wouldn't want Steve, but people who prefer Steve are younger. That's just what I've gathered from the people saying they want Steve. They're younger. So, for people in my generation or above, basically born in the late 90s or before, we're like, we don't really care about Steve much. We like our man Banjo to be represented. And I think that's the best thing to do. Because putting Steve in, you're mostly just appealing to that younger crowd who are still teenagers, you know, or were born in the early to mid 2000s. I think you're appealing just to that crowd. But with Banjo, even though you might be neglecting that younger audience, you're appealing to people who are my age and above, which is more of a demographic than that younger audience. So, in my opinion, I think Banjo should get in above Steve. If they both get in, great, I'll be happy. But I think if one had to make it, I think Banjo should be the one that makes it. But that's neither here nor there. But, like I was kind of hinting towards, it could also get those younger people who've never played a Banjo-Kazooie game, it could get them to be like, oh, this Banjo character looks interesting. He looks cool, he's humorous, and the bird on him is interesting. I want to play the actual game. Then they would get the Banjo-Kazooie game for the Switch. And the third and last thing I think they could do, and this would happen after all of this. Like, that would happen first, and then this. New Banjo game. It's just continue where Tooie left off. Banjo-Tooie, literally, Gruntilda said, I will see you in Banjo 3. Continue from there. Continue the story. That's all you have to do. I don't care if you have to hire Platonic Games, the creators of Yooka-Laylee, aka the old Rareware team. I don't care if you have to source them to do the game for you. I don't care. Make Banjo 3 happen. Make it happen and bring it to the Xbox, PC, and Switch. That's how you should do it, because really, the Xbox crowd, the people who exclusively have an Xbox, they're not that interested in Switch. There's a few people on there that are probably interested. Like me, I have an Xbox One. I'm interested in Banjo-Kazooie, but that's because I have a Nintendo background, like most people on there would. Or if they just really liked Rare Replay, maybe they would like to see a sequel to Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Maybe they would like to see that sequel if they played Rare Replay. So, I really think it's important that Microsoft really emphasize on the importance of Banjo-Kazooie and do something with it going forward. Don't just leave it to rot after your failure because you failed to recognize, you know, the kind of game that Banjo was and how people loved it and the anticipation of Banjo 3 that there was back in the day. People wanted a 3D platformer. No one said, get rid of the 3D platformer elements and put in cars. No one said that. So that's on you. I don't know if it's Microsoft or Rare, but it's on you. That's not on us. We wanted a 3D platformer from the start. So now is your opportunity to fix that and give us a 3D platformer, especially since 3D platformers are back on the rise. Yooka-Laylee came out, and even though it got relatively mixed reviews, it's still a good game. You know, Super Lucky's Tale got pretty well received, so 3D platformers are making a small comeback. So if you release a new Banjo-Kazooie game, boom, instant, boom. And you gotta do it before Crash makes it, or Spyro makes one, you know, so that Banjo can have that hype. So that's all I've got to say about Banjo-Kazooie. Hopefully, they bring it to the Switch. Hopefully, Banjo gets in Smash, and hopefully they make a new game. That's all I gotta say. You know, it's crazy that Microsoft hasn't done anything really with Rare. Like, they have Sea of Thieves, which is mediocre at first, but apparently now it's pretty good. You know, all of their major IPs, like, they're making a new Battletoads game, which I guess is a good start, but they've neglected Banjo, they've neglected Conquer, so it's like, those are your major ones, right? Banjo, Conquer, Perfect Dark, you're abandoning those for Sea of Thieves, I mean, Battletoads okay, whatever, but I don't know. I think Microsoft has a big opportunity to bring Banjo back, and that's how I think they should do it. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Like I said, I'm going to be live streaming the Microsoft event on Sunday, so make sure to subscribe, hit the little bell so that you'll be notified when I'm doing that live stream. Nintendo's is on Tuesday at noon, so I'll also be live streaming that one, so hopefully you stick around for that one as well. And yeah, guys, I have Patreon and Discord links in the description down below, and I guess that's it. So until next time, guys, see you in the next video.